EU Commissioner Johannes Hahn urged Albania to follow up on reform progress so that in June next year the country will receive a positive response from the EU, with another condition being reaching a deal with Greece. Reform of the public administration continues under the framework of the European Union as 15 civil servants were trained for 5 months in delivering service to European standards, and a new pay system is implemented based on meritocracy. At a time when the debate on the new theatre rages on, Veliaj seeks to convince those who are sceptical, saying the new building will be 8 times larger and will still utilise the existing land and space. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Friday the 13th of July 2018. Hope you haven't had too much bad luck today, and welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. A few days before arriving in our country, the European Commissioner, during a conference with the Prime Minister in Brussels, reminded all politicians in Albania that this process should be a common goal. The head of our government expressed commitment to meeting the priorities without wasting time. The European Commission will continue to pursue the implementation of reforms to open negotiations for next year. We will be in Tirana and we will talk to the government and the opposition. It is a common goal that belongs to everyone, said Johannes Hahn. EU Enlargement Commissioner Johannes Hahn made it clear that the EU does not accept any country that has ongoing issues with neighbours. As we have clearly stated in the joint strategy we have issued in February this year, the EU will not accept any other member state that still has unresolved conflict with one of the neighbouring countries. In the same spirit, Albania is in negotiations with Greece. This is something that needs to be done at a bilateral level and happens at this bilateral level without any relief from our side. I am sorry that there were misunderstandings because this had to do with an explanation for the borderline. Nothing more and nothing less, said Johannes Hahn. Prime Minister Edi Rama has given assurances that the finalisation of the agreement with Greece will be in the best interest of both countries. The two countries are finding solutions in the best interest of each country and their people. We have made progress in concrete terms. There have been issues that have been outstanding for 25 years in history and have lasted over time. What we want is to transform this into a dynamic of dramatic change in the future and to move from a story that has always been an obstacle in domestic politics. I am 100% sure that when the results are finalised and made clear, anyone who accuses betrayal from both sides will be shamed by public opinion, said Edi Rama. President of the European Council, Donald Tusk, was convinced that if our country continues with the reform progress in June 2019, it will receive a positive response. I have no doubt whether Albania will continue with the progress of reforms, and next year Albania will receive a positive response. Talks with Greece are strong proof of Albania's good neighbourliness in relation to the EU, said Donald Tusk. The President of the Republic, Ilir Meta, has decorated the former MP, the distinguished Albanian diplomat and former ambassador Bashkim Zaneli, with the high title of Grand Master. The motivation in providing such an honourable title was written as follows. In recognition of the outstanding contribution and the long and prominent activity in the field of foreign policy, where as a journalist, publicist, MP of the Albanian Parliament and ambassador, has devoted with dedication to the national affair of Euro-Atlantic integration of Albania. At the ceremony of decoration, the head of state, Ilir Meta, appreciated in particular the contribution of the diplomat to the independence of Kosovo. Diplomat Zaneli is a prominent public figure and a prominent foreign policy contributor. His contribution to Kosovo's independence is extraordinary and historic. Ambassador Bashkim Zaneli is a master of public diplomacy, said Ilir Meta. Bashkim Zaneli expressed his appreciation for the receiving of the honour. The title Grand Master is a great honour and an appreciation for which I thank President Meta. This high title I share with my family and all my associates. I will continue to contribute to the European future of Albania, said Bashkim Zaneli. Present at the ceremony were former President Recep Meidana, Ministers Fatmir Jafaj and Pendeli Majko, Tirana's Mayor Erion Veliaj, former foreign ministers, ambassadors and other MPs. The Albanian government is expected to apply a new payroll system for the public administration. Deputy Prime Minister Sanita Mesi, during the graduation ceremony of 15 civil servants who were selected and trained to provide services according to European standards, said that salary restructuring will be made on the basis of employee performance. With regard to European Union funds, we will soon plan and improve the structure of wages so that this structure will show meritocracy, not just the years of work, and as such will certainly give that very important element of salary salaries based on performance, said Sunita Messi. Stephen Stork, the head of the Public Administration Modernisation Programme, appreciated the commitment to improving services, as according to him, the objectives of Albania are to provide services to the standards of the European Union. The 15 trained employees of the French School of Public Administration in Paris and Strasbourg have been selected from 4 areas covering public policy, monitoring and implementation of the strategy, drafting legislation, European integration and financial planning. The Ministry of Education is in the public consultation phase with interest groups on the draft for the Academy of Sciences that will legally be considered as the reform of this institution. The Academy of Sciences was involved in debates until an ultimatum was given by the Prime Minister, Edi Rama, which could have resulted in its closure. The draft law proposed by the Education Ministry following the work of the Special Science Academy Commission rejects some changes to the 2006 law related to funding and budget proposal, the mandate set for the chair, and the criteria for membership. According to the draft, the Academy of Sciences remains a budget institution. Its activity and technical scientific services will be funded from the state budget, but also open to receiving external funding from donors. The innovation is that this institution will propose for itself how much the annual budget should be, and the proposal will pass on for discussion in the parliamentary commissions. The annual budget for the last year was 110 million lek. The minimum age for academic participation in this institution is 65 years, after having passed all degrees of study, scientific works and academic titles, but members should not be leaders of constitutional institutions or part of political parties. At the age of 75, members must be released from some of the activities and obligations of this institution. The head of the Science Academy will have a 2-year mandate, no longer a 4-year mandate, though with more re-election and rotation in senior positions. After public consultation, the draft will be submitted to Parliament for discussion at parliamentary commissions. The Democratic Party, through the MP Albana Vokshi, made accusations against Prime Minister Edi Rama, stressing that for 20 years he has been the main enemy of the National Theatre. She declared that the Prime Minister stands to earn at least €205 million from the plan to build 6 towers at the site of the National Theatre. Edi Rama's mafia plan to collapse the National Theatre is a long-standing and well-thought-out plan. Since taking office in 1998, when he became Minister of Culture, the National Theatre and the denigration of artists were the targets of Edi Rama, who has carried out concrete actions for its collapse and cemented over the historic capital of the centre. In the 2017 General Plan of Tirana, unlike other areas where the building surface, the utilisation coefficient and the number of floors are defined, the area of the theatre remains void. Edi Rama himself decides on things in the interests of his own personal finances. The planned profit for Edi Rama through the mafia scheme of stealing public property by collapsing the theatre to build 6 towers is at least €205 million, said Albana Vokshi. Vokshi said that the Democratic Party, citizens who want to preserve cultural values and citizens who do not accept looting or a government from the mafia will not allow the triumph of evil. Miravalli seeks to convince the sceptics about the new theatre building that the project foresees a spectacular piece of work, with bigger spaces than the existing building and the capacity to stage different shows. Valli says this public discussion with both pro and con voices occurs whenever there is a significant project, linking them with objections to the playground at the lake or to the upgraded Skanderberg Square. The reason why the theatre is being attacked so much is simple. They know that when the government and municipality are working, they do a great job, such as the playground at the lake, the Olympic Park, the new boulevard, Skanderberg Square, the new bazaar, etc. In fact, this is a desperate attempt by those who run the opposition today, who know that the new theatre will be a spectacular piece of work, 8 times larger and on its own land, and of course will receive prizes, said Erian Valli. In response to opposition leader Lul Zimbasha's criticism of Danish architect Bjarke Ingels, who has designed a project for the new National Theatre, Valli had this to say: "I am aware that in Tirana there are politicians with a mansion in the Netherlands, but who behave as 500 years backward Balkaners. The opposition's disaster, which has a child for a leader. Meanwhile, it is fortune for Tirana having a government and a municipality in charge of work to move forward." Valli also inspected the works being carried out in Kavaya Street for the addition of dedicated bicycle lanes. "I am happy with the way the entire bicycle network in Tirana is being distributed with tremendous speed. I am thankful to our Dutch embassy colleagues who have designed an engineering network that will give the city lanes at least within the ring. The number of those who use bicycles has been tripled, both through Mobike and private bicycles. I say that Tirana is on the right track, said Irion Veliai. Tirana's mayor underlined that the construction of new lanes has led to triple users of bicycles in the capital. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.